Hi everyone, and welcome to the World Theatre Podcast. You've got myself, Robbie, we've got Craig.
Hello again.
And we are very privileged. We have got all the writers and actors of the Tangled Roots. So we have got Francesca.
Hello.
We have got Chloe.
Hi.
And we have got Catherine.
Hi there.
Some very apt old worldy names as well for the old worldy play.
It works very well.
So I know Francesca, obviously, because Francesca, she's one of my colleagues who worked a long time, and you are probably our furthest away group. So it's set on the Wirral, but you guys aren't from the Wirral or living on the Wirral, are you? So
No.
Where are you from, Francesca, at the moment?
So Preston and Leyland area, so about an hour away. So far I am the closest of us.
Chloe's originally from Leyland as well, aren't
Yes,
you?
Yes.
I am.
You're down south currently.
She moved away. We don't know why.
Oh, we know why.
I've dotted around the country for a few years, but at the moment I'm in Essex.
Fantastic. Nice part of the world. And then, Catherine, have you always been southerly based?
I have. I was born and bred in Tunbridge, Kent, but I've moved about to Essex, to Norwich, and now London.
I mean, darling, it does sound very, very well eloquent. I love it. I'm only jealous. Only jealous. But we are here to talk mainly about the play. So, first of all, like, what's it been like? Chloe, obviously, working again with Francesca, because you did like, was it a film course together or something? BY?
No, we did do BYFA together.
So we met in college when we both did performing arts courses. I did a musical theatre course and Frankie did an acting course. And then part of the college years, there was a film camp over summer called BYFA, but we kind of just hit it off in general. And then after we left college, we both went to East 15 together for a year. And then I went off and gallivanted, and then Frankie stayed in East 15 and did her degree there. And obviously we have been friends since then and
Fantastic.
ever since.
I mean, she's like a bad rash. I love her, but you can't get rid of her. And I
Absolutely
love that.
not.
I love that. Once she's around.
You try and get rid of me and I turn up outside your house like, hello.
I've not yet found an antibiotic that works.
No.
But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. She's the only person who has stalked me for a job in my life. But I am so glad she did, because she's an absolute asset to our company.
I stalk everyone into every job at this point, because I've just stalked Catherine and Chloe into doing this one.
No is not an answer.
Actually, to be fair, Chloe,
No is a challenge.
Chloe is one of the people who is like so easy to work with logistically, because I'll just message me like, I've got a project. You're up north. Cool?
Yeah,
Cool.
that's right.
Yeah.
Assume if you're free, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, so it's like, okay,
I'll find a way.
we'll work. What's your schedule? This. Cool, work around it.
Do you know what though? There's so many, like, there must be so many acting groups that if you've got a core group of people you work well with, why do you want to work with other people too much? Because you know you get the job done, you have fun with it, and it's good quality work.
I feel like for mine, because I do a lot of writing, I want to do everything on my own project. So I want to be in it, I want to direct it.
It's hard though, isn't it? You've got to divert, as Highball know as well. You've got to diversify. There was a high five for those who can't see us.
Yeah. We tried to do it as quietly as possible, so it wouldn't just be around.
Make it audible. Make it audible. High five.
We'll redo it.
Yes.
You peaked.
That will not be heard then. But so yeah, Chloe, I don't think I have a core group, but I have a lot of people that I can just ring up and be like, I've got a project. You don't have to audition for it, and it's paid. Coming up north. Cool.
Where's the note to that?
Which sofa am I staying on? Sorted. Catherine, obviously, like, it's harder to get you logistically, but it's so worth it.
Yeah.
She's so worth the messing around with the logistics.
There's a natural eloquence just from hearing you read script earlier. Like, there's just a nuance that's always there, I think.
And like, especially with writing, because obviously it's already difficult writing when you're 2 people on a project, but 3 people on a project, that could have gone horribly wrong. But so far, it has genuinely been a dream come true, and both of these women add incredible, amazing ideas.
So how's it worked? Have you kind of done like the rough bare bones of it all, and then you've kind of added in the historical facts and like tweaked it between you?
I think there's been different bits at different times. So these guys.
Well, you go down a rabbit hole, as you've often said. I don't know, Chloe, Catherine, are you the same? Once you get on something, you're on it.
I'm usually the one that kind of pulls things back into the conversation, and I think
You're Francesca's Craig. You pull us out of the rabbit back to earth.
We start going, because I'll ADHD my way straight into a rabbit hole. Oh look, there's a white rabbit. What's its historical accuracy?
Where can I buy one?
I'll drag Catherine down with me by the ear Yeah.
She's
And
too
I'm just
afraid
like,
to say
come
no.
on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm coming.
At some
And then
point,
Chloe-
you're gonna fatigue.
Yeah, and Chloe's known me long enough.
We should just
and-
go, we're done with this
Yeah.
now. Let's
no,
move
it's
on.
like, okay, we have this amount of
bring,
time.
bring back, I think how it initially started, so we had the general idea, and just like formation wise, because you had just the general shape, but I was like, well, we need to make sure we've got the story beats, and we need to make sure like we have these characters, and we need
The
these
arc.
emotional swells and things like that. So we went from there with head-ins, and then every time we had a discussion, I would write down a rough version of script, and then these two would more so, you did a lot of the research and the kind of historical accuracy sort of things, and Frankie is really good with the speech of the time.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of, we all came together on
Punitively
everything.
accurate, aren't you?
But
Yeah.
it
Points
was
of cruelty.
it was like very fragmented. It's like we all kind of had our like roles within that, because I can research, but I'm better just getting stuff down on a page.
And it sounds like you make sure the drama is there, and you make sure it is accurate drama, essentially. So it sounds like a
And
nice balance.
I think, because I do a lot of the editing, so these guys, we have a Google Doc, and it's just like, okay, if you've had an idea for a bit of script,
Chuck it in.
just throw it in somewhere, and I'll find the right place for it. And it's a case of yours, I'll like take and go, this is amazing, I'm going to twist some of the like words and writing. And then Catherine's is incredible, because Catherine's comes through as like actual Shakespeare text, and you could put a monologue from Shakespeare and a monologue from Catherine side by side, and even with my love of Shakespeare, I would struggle to tell the difference.
Amazing.
And sometimes I have to be like, okay, I need to pull some of that away so that it's also understandable for a modern audience who
That's
hasn't
it.
done,
Like
hasn't done a classical
theatre
theatre
has to be
degree.
accessible, doesn't it? But it should still be eloquent. Like you've
yeah.
got to find such a perfect balance between all
Yeah.
three, haven't you?
Yeah, I
And
think it's...
some of your moments are just absolutely beautiful lines of
So
text.
can I ask?
Do you know
is
what?
this-
The best way I could describe it is Catherine's character's a bitch, but you can't hate her because she's
Don't
kind of just.
spoil it.
Well, I'm not spoiling it, but like to me, that's how it kind of reads. Like, but
Is this
she
the
has her
first
points.
time that you two have worked together?
It is,
Or have you,
yes.
Yeah, it is. So you're like the mediator.
For
of
the
the-
Yeah.
viewers, that's Catherine and Chloe who pointed.
Yeah. So is this the first time you two have been in the space together, or is it
You've had a couple of rehearsals.
a couple
Well,
before?
First at the National Theatre.
The first time we
met at the National. Don't we? I love it.
the first time we did anything was at the National, just because Frankie was in London and
work.
I'm around.
You're
so
Always thank you.
so we were just like thinking of somewhere to go, and I've spent a lot of time at the National, so I was just like, I know they have some really nice just like secluded workspaces that you can go to, and it's easy to get to.
You still have the Wi-Fi password for
I
that
do.
from when you were
Amazing.
I have
performing
the
there.
staff Wi-Fi password,
Yeah.
which
Post
is
it.
What was it? Lonely Island.
Small Island.
Small Island.
Oh, my friend was on that. Did you know her? What's her name? Amy. She got cat eye.
Yes,
Amy Forrest.
Yes,
Amy
and I bumped
Forrest.
into her not too long ago as well, because she was at an event in London and I saw her again there.
Yeah,
So
she's great.
Yeah, she
networks
is
with
great.
Everybody, she's so good.
Yeah, I do know Amy. But yeah, so that was like the first time we met, and we had a few Zoom calls as well, because
yes.
obviously from our various different places, and I'm not always in Essex. I'm freaking.
It's only one of the good things I think has come out of COVID. The fact you can work now
Mm-hmm.
online, and there's no real fear of it because like we just sign on and all turn up
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is lovely.
Amazing. So do you want to give us like a little bit of a rundown of the play without giving away any of the people still want to need to come to it, but like give us the rough kind of, are these characters all real characters, or are they some fictitious, or is it just names? Like,
So we're not from the Wirral, as we said before.
yeah,
But
you know enough as if you are now.
Oh, at this point, the amount of history. So this is set in Bidston Hall.
Mm-hmm.
When it was first built, as in
Beautiful building.
within the first year of it being built is when we've set it. We've got the year down, and we know which family rebuilt it, because I think it was actually, there was like a Norman building there, and then in Tudor times got rebuilt, and that's the building that's standing there today. Might not be Norman, don't quote me on that bit, but it was rebuilt.
She'll find out by the end of the episode.
I will go and find out, don't worry. I'll put it in the brochure. And it was rebuilt in 1590, whatever year the script is. The year before our play is set, which I now can't remember.
In the
Frankie
year
did do
of
her
our
homework.
Frankie's homework is flying out of her head currently. And one of the characters is a real person, which is Elizabeth Vere, now Elizabeth Stanley, who married, that's my character,
Played by
Elizabeth is
Francesca.
mine, and she married the 6th Earl of Derby, whose estate is
Do we need to give the audience a family tree on the chair?
No,
No.
it mostly gets explained in the
Fantastic.
script that she has married the 6th Earl of Derby, because that's where all the drama comes from. Because just a year before, the 5th Earl of Derby was poisoned. And that is pretty much, as far as we know, a historical fact.
So that is true.
That is true.
But the kind of mystery around it has never been revealed. Just
They
that.
think, from what my research told me, Ferdinando Stanley, 5th Earl of Derby, was poisoned by Catholics. Being raised Catholic myself, I was like, fair enough, understandable.
We take it.
Sounds like
that's on us. Sorry about that. So his daughters, the baronies he owned went into abeyance between his daughters, but the earldom passed to his brother, and so then he built the brother, the 6th Earl of Derby, William, who is my character's new husband, has rebuilt this hall, part of being the, I'll just rebuild this bit of land that we've got as our little hunting lodge, and gets married to my character. And my character has, within these first 2 months of marriage, obviously had her month-long honeymoon, which they had in those days, and now has since found out, oh God, my brother-in-law was poisoned, we might be next, because they might not be finished with our family, and where does that leave me, where does that leave my new family? And so she calls upon her oldest childhood friend, who she has lived with at home. They've been to court as ladies in waiting together, and this is Philippa Kellett, who is a couple of years older.
Played by Katherine.
She is a fictional character. She is a completely fictional character. We need to work out what her husband's title is. That's one of the research bits we've realised we need to do today. Because they wouldn't have been known as Lord and Lady Kellett or Lord and Lady Stanley. They'd be Lord and Lady Derby, so that their title, not their surname.
I get you.
So we need to give you a title, darling. We need to find you a title somewhere.
Lord and Lady Ew.
Stop it.
Sorry, that's an in joke for us.
Oh, awful man.
Where's the high, what's the high stake in it then?
So the high stakes is, if the 5th Earl's been poisoned, who poisoned him? Because it's got to be someone in the staff. And so they're now going,
You look into your own household.
we need to look into our own household. We need to know who it is. And Chloe's character is Avis Maidstone, who is my gentlewoman, my maid. But a lady's personal maid and a lord's personal valet would not be just some your governor, like kid from down the street. They would also be from a landed gentry family.
Yeah.
So she is expected to go to this noble house, learn how to be a lady, learn how to run her household, and then probably go get married and go and run her own household. So her dad is Sir, he'd be a Sir, but this is also a fictional character.
So yours is the true kind
Mine
of
is the true
accurate
character,
historical one.
but Avis's uncle is a true character from history, which is Thomas Tresham, who was very famously fined and imprisoned for being a Catholic, which means that she has a very prominent Catholic family, which means that puts a lot of suspicion onto Avis's shoulders, because, well, if Thomas Tresham is her uncle, her mum's brother, does that mean she's spying for her family?
Is this
Does
where
that
we
mean
go?
that-
Scandalous.
Oh yes, absolutely.
this is where the drama comes
This
in.
is where, because the object of this play is that Philippa is at this point, she's got this coded letter from Elizabeth. Basically with, everything's lovely, everything's fine, and then
Read
like
between
help,
the
help,
lines.
help in between the lines.
Did you do the orange
So-
juice thing that they used to do where you could like
We should
burn the
put that-
codes?
No, they've got their own little code and a little cipher that they made up as girls.
Yeah.
So they've made up their own little code, and now she's used it. No, this is a real serious situation. We're not just stealing sweets from the kitchen. I actually need you as an adult.
Do you know what I love so far as well, having read the script? Like, it's 3 really strong female characters that you've written. You know, and they always say that there's not enough strong roles for girls in theatre, whereas you've given someone 3 very juicy roles to play.
Yeah.
I don't even know whose is the best role to play because they've all got their own things. haven't they?
It's been really fun as well, because obviously with how we've done the process, it's been a very much development. We've had the base idea of like what characters we wanted in. Obviously we had the main 2, and then we had the maid, and then we were very much tossing up of how we want the maid to be played. And as we started writing more script and started playing with it, it's like we figured out that she is she's very intelligent. She is very much a player in the game, and she's like coming up and she's learning from these two. But in the interactions that are at the start with Philippa, you see Avis like kind of biting back, and you see that she does know how to play the game, and she lets on a little bit of her intelligence.
She's figuring her out.
Yeah.
And yeah, because we've got it in the script as well. Philippa is like a bloodhound at this point, because it's no, screw you.
Someone's messing with my friends.
Someone is messing with, and as it turns out, it's not just friendship at this point.
I suppose one question as well is like, and maybe we'll let someone else answer this one. Are any of the characters inherently bad or not? Because they all seem to have their flaws, don't they? But they're all trying to come from a good place with, and I think with Avis, we don't quite see the finality of that story, because that's potentially planned for an act 2 later down the line, isn't it? But you've all kind of got the flaws, but they're coming from a good place. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, especially in that period, women can only do right if a man says she's done right.
Yeah.
In her own mind, she will always be at the behest of the Bible or the man that she is serving. So I think...
I'm sure your character would have influenced her husband quite easily.
Yes, quite.
Just because he gets the vote doesn't mean I say what he votes for.
Exactly. And I think it would have been something that was very controversial for them sort of internally, of going, I'm not conforming to what everyone else is, and no one else has said, I don't like this, so I've got to keep going along with how society is, and sort of trying to figure out where your place is, and if you're wrong for trying to figure that out.
It's very pertinent for today, though, isn't it? Because it's kind of like people are like, am I allowed to be who I want to be, or do I have to be who society expects me to be?
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think surface level, it would be so easy to go, these women are thinking, they're bad, and actually.
That's the basic way of looking at it, isn't it?
So and then it's like being able to hear their inner thoughts without judgment, and they might say things that you think, that's a horrid thing to say. You need therapy, you need help.
Yeah.
They definitely need therapy.
But at the same time, you're a human and you are allowed to be, and I think this is in a time when you're not allowed to be imperfect.
But I suppose again, you've got. There's no men currently around you in the scene, is it? This is your time to have your power and have your confidence, because there's no one technically hierarchically above you in that room, apart from obviously Avis's character. You two are essentially equals in this moment. So it's these three powerful women basically all looking at each other suspicious. Well, not you two, but looking suspiciously. And I know there's a few funny moments, isn't there, like without giving it away, where like you're plotting about things, and then suddenly the maid walks in, like, we're going to talk about something else. So there's some light moments.
Dog is so lovely, and because obviously, especially the way they can switch between that comes from practice.
But then there's going to be subtleties, isn't there? Because I bet your character's like, I know that's not what you're talking about.
Well, she's learning to play the game because she's intelligent. Yeah. And she knows that there is something going on. And
if I want to be privy, I've got to show I'm worthy.
So she is definitely learning how to play the game, because as well, she's not just learning how to be a lady. Like, this is her life. If she wants to maintain her power, or if she wants to stay educated, she needs to find ways.
It's hard to go up, but it's very easy to go down, isn't it?
She needs to find ways to exert her independence and dominance, while also being in a system where she's about to be married off, and she's going to have children, and she has to bring respect to her family and
expectations.
Yes. Yeah. I think also Elizabeth and Philip have a great danger of looking down at Avis, not because of her being a gentlewoman and serving right now, because they'd have done that.
I was going to say, have you come through the same system?
That's how Philippa met
You're just
Elizabeth.
further along the line than she is.
Yeah, that's how Philippa met Elizabeth, because Philippa would have been sent to Elizabeth's house to do that same job that Avis is doing now. But these girls have been ladies-in-waiting to Queen Elizabeth I. And that is true for Elizabeth de Vere. She was a lady-in-waiting at the court of Elizabeth.
Creme de la creme.
They've not only learned to play this game in a noble household, they've done it in the Queen's court itself. So they have the danger of being like, well, we played this game at court. It's why they're so very quick to be able to go plotting, and talk about the dog, talk about the nice things, talk about how the gate's been built, and then plotting, and they can flick on a dime, because they've had to do it walking down the corridors at various palaces in the country. Avis does not have that experience of doing it right in the lion's den, But that means that these guys have a problem where they might underestimate Avis because even though Avis hasn't been to the court, she's still learned to play this game.
Yeah.
And with her family history, it could be, there's a lot there that can be explored on how much she knows about the game.
Yeah.
So guys, can I ask a little question? What has the rehearsal process looked like? Because obviously you're at 3 different places and it all comes together for these moments. Sometimes it can be hard to go from like 0 to 100. Like, how do you kind of like come in, mesh all your ideas together? No, like, have you already thrown away a few things before you get in space? Have you redefined the script by the time you get it in hand? Or are you chopping and changing and experimenting in the moments when you're together still? Like, as you're devising the work?
I think so. Usually we've had obviously not that many in-person rehearsals, so a lot of them will be over Zoom. And what my process usually is, I'll look at what has been put on our Google Doc, because we have at the top of it we have a research block, which is just research generally from the time, and then things that are very specific to what we're doing. And then I'll like look through what the edits have been done, and then I almost set an agenda in my head to, I think, how from what we have the best way to go forward, which is usually really useful because Frankie likes to go and he's like, I found out this really fun thing, and then we'll talk about that for a bit, and I'm like, and so next we do this.
Absolutely.
So I'm just like, I'm like in my brain, I was like, I'll set an agenda.
I feel like you also set
You
a
keep everyone
timer.
on track.
I think you set a timer in your brain of being like, and the tangent started.
Yes,
Tick,
there
tick,
we
tick,
go.
tick, tick, let it go, let it go, let it go.
That's the beauty of
And
knowing
back in the
friends so
room.
well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we are going to have to wrap it up there, guys, but just to let everybody know, if you would like to come and see a historical play set in the beautiful Bidston Hall, it's on Friday the 30th of August. It's on between 7:15 and 8:15, and you can get tickets in advance. There are discounts if you buy multiple tickets for different shows, so come and see something. There's a great one called The Island on afterwards, isn't there, Craig?
I believe so.
But thank you very much, girls, for coming on the podcast. I can't wait to see the show myself.
Thank you.
Very excited.